Well, let's bring you that story to you in proper perspective. The African Export-Import Bank says that the 2025 edition of its annual trade finance will be focused on the oil and gas industry. This was according to Gwen Nwaba, the Managing Director of Trade Finance and Correspondent Banking at the Afreximbank. Speaking to a cross-section of journalists in Cairo earlier, Nwaba says the forum due on Abidjan from November 4th will provide technical skills for African bankers, exporters, legal practitioners, and others in structured finance and other areas of handling deals and investment in the hydrocarbon sector. Let's take a listen.
This year is the 25th anniversary of the training, so it's going to be very special. We're hosting it in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire on the 4th to 6th November, followed by a one-day factoring workshop on the 7th of November at the Radisson Blue Hotel in Cote d'Ivoire. So in 1999 was the first year that this training was launched. And why did we see it necessary to launch a training for bankers to teach them how to structure transactions, how to diversify their portfolios, how to mitigate risk? It became quite evident that whilst these types of trainings are available globally, not everybody had the opportunity to attend these trainings when we looked at our African clients. If the training was in New York, in the UK, Singapore, or some far afield destination, it wasn't the trade finance practitioner in the operations department that had the privilege of being sponsored to go. Usually it was the senior executives that would attend these trainings year on year because, number one, the cost of the travel, the cost of the flight. So Afreximbank then decided that why don't we bring this training onto the African continent? Even though there are still costs of travel and hotels involved, the distances are closer. So it becomes a lot cheaper. And what we have found over the years is that the banks now are able to expand access of this training to many, many more of their staff. In fact, these days we don't see CEOs and executive directors attending the training. We're seeing people in the coalface who actually are the practitioners attending this training. So that was the genesis of this training. And every year we rotate it around the African continent and host it in different regions, and also within the different regions in different countries. So last year, I believe we were in Lagos in Nigeria, the year before we were in Namibia, in Windhoek, and so on and so forth. So 25 years of having done this, we have managed to grow this training and its interest. I think in the early days, we used to get modest attendance of between 50 to 80 people. Now we're kind of topping 300. And above, and we continue to improve on that training. So this year, the focus of the training will be on navigating, changing a global landscape. We are seeing the need or shifting alliances in the global landscape. So we start by educating our African bankers on why it's important to be aware that we are not immune from what's happening in the rest of the world. We may be sitting far away in Africa, there's troubles or tensions elsewhere in the globe, but we are also equally impacted because we are part of that global system. And then what we do in the training also is not only do we integrate the macro environment so that people are aware of what its impact is to them, we also focus on specific transferable skills through workshops. So this year, one of the focus areas will be on structuring skills in the oil and gas sector. So we'll be imparting knowledge to participants on, for example, how do you monetize oil and gas resources that are under the ground? We at Afreximbank are very skilled in that, so we will have people from the bank as well as external trainers impacting on the practical reality so people can go away in their countries where they're operating. If they have resources under the ground, it could be oil, it could be mining and metals, but they have the skills to be able not only identify the opportunity, instead of allowing international banks to fly in, do all the deals and go away. We want the African banks to be the ones that are actually originating, structuring, and coming to Afreximbank to work with us to partner. So reserve-based lending will be one key workshop that we are hosting. Another key workshop that we are hosting this year will be on syndications. None of the local banks can lend 500 million. So what the banks will do individually is they'll say, well, my single obligor limit is 10, I'll do 10. Another bank will say, I'll offer you 20, which is quite inefficient. So we are also imparting knowledge on syndications to show the African bankers that you don't have to turn away a $500 million deal if the opportunity arises. You can pool all the resources within your country, bring in regional and international development finance institutions such as Afreximbank, and we will then deliver the total package to the market as one group. It makes it efficient for the borrower because they only have one point of contact. So, and then we will also touch on legal documentation. A lot of the standards for legal documentation, particularly for syndicated loans, are based on the Loan Market Association standard. So many of the African banks, because they're used to just doing bilateral corporate loans and overdrafts, they don't even know what that means. So we teach them, you know, what are the key features that you need to see in a syndicated loan facility, for example. So we'll have legal teams talking to them about when they're negotiating with their clients, this is what they can expect to see. What is best practice? If you've been given a mandate by a client, for example, you know, don't go out and start offering the same mandate to a competing client. There has to be some kind of clear market provisions. Until you fail to deliver to the client, then you know you're free to go off and support a competitor, for example. So that's just really a recap of what I wanted to share around capacity.